Hello, friends. Today, I'm going to tell you a terrifying story where the light of a talisman and the courage of five sinners clash against the spirits of Bhairav Chowk. They say that on that deserted square, it's not just robbers lurking in the shadows, but also the presence of black magic and ancient spirits. So get ready. The evening darkness was slowly spreading all around. The sky had wrapped itself in a blanket of black clouds, as if preparing for rain. In the cold breeze, Chani's mind felt strangely restless. Raindrops always brought with them a sense of mystery and shivers for her. Chani stood before the mirror, busy adorning herself. Tonight, she had to attend Mrs. Kapoor's daughter's wedding. She changed her sari several times, each time trying to make herself look even more beautiful. Chani was a college lecturer, but she looked no less than a college student. She always loved looking and feeling beautiful. While heading toward her car, her eyes fell on the newspaper lying nearby. On it was a headline about Bhairav Chowk. The news read that strange incidents kept happening in that area: robbery, murder, kidnapping, assault, and even unknown spirits. Reading it, Chandni's glowing face dimmed for a moment. A faint shadow of fear crept into her heart. Just then, her phone rang, breaking the silence. She spoke with Mrs. Kapoor and then sat in her car, preparing to return home from the wedding. On the way, a light drizzle began. Chandni decided not to wait, but to keep driving ahead. But as she passed through a rough dirt road, her car suddenly stopped. Darkness and silence surrounded her. Raindrops trickled down her face. She took out the talisman her mother had given her on her deathbed, closed her eyes, and tried restarting the car. With the power of the talisman, the car roared back to life, and Chandni sighed in relief. She almost felt safe until she realized her path led directly through Bhairav Chowk. Her heart started pounding heavily. Suddenly, three strange figures, draped in white sheets, appeared in front of her car. Chandni clutched her talisman tightly and left herself in God's hands. But these were not ghosts. They were robbers. They dragged her out of the car and threw her to the ground. Chandni struggled up, trembling, as she saw the men holding knives. Out of fear, she handed over her gold and silver jewelry, then tried to run. Just then, five students, infamously known in the college as the Five Sinners, arrived at the scene. They attacked the robbers and saved Chandni. "We may be bad," they said, "but we never harm a woman's dignity." Tears welled up in Chandni's eyes, her heart swelling with relief and gratitude. In the end, Chandni reached home safely, having learned one important truth. Sometimes, those we misunderstand as wrongdoers can turn out to be the ones who protect us. After reaching home, Chandni sat in her room for a while. Her hands were still trembling, and the echoes of fear from the night lingered in her mind. But one question kept circling in her head: why were those same robbers at Bhairav Chowk, and why had they attacked so suddenly? The next morning, Chandni called the five sinners from her college. She thanked them and asked if they had handed the robbers over to the police. "Yes, madam," we informed the police. "But we believe these men weren't just ordinary local robbers. There's something bigger and far more dangerous behind them," one of the students said in a serious voice. Fear and curiosity rose together inside Chandni. She decided that she would uncover this mystery herself. That night, she headed toward Bhairav Chowk again. The same desolate darkness lingered there. Along the roadside, faint glimmers of fireflies flickered, casting shadows that seemed to move. Chandni switched on her car's headlights and slowly drove forward. Suddenly, she spotted something shining on the ground in a corner of the road. When she stopped the car and picked it up, she realized it was the very same talisman her mother had given her. But now it glowed differently, as if it had been charged with some supernatural power. At once, she sensed that this talisman wasn't just protecting her. It was warning her of the next horrifying event to unfold at Bhairav Chowk. Her eyes darted to a dark stretch of the road. There, 3 or 4 hazy figures stood, but this time, they didn't look human. Their forms weren't white, but faintly blue and misty, and around them swirled an unnatural wind. Chandni's heart pounded furiously. She clutched the talisman tightly in her hand and whispered to herself, "God, protect me from these mysterious forces. I want to stop them." At that very moment, the 5 sinners appeared. But this time, their faces showed not mischief, but grim determination and readiness. "Madam, these are not ordinary robbers. They are tied to the spirits of Bhairav Chowk and to old black magic. We cannot leave you alone in this," one of the students said firmly. Have you ever heard of a village where people are afraid of their own shadows at night? Where as soon as darkness falls, every door is shut tight, and the only thing moving in the streets is fear itself. Today, we'll take you to that mysterious place, a village called Nirgud. It's morning. Sunlight glimmers over the fields. Children are heading to school, and women are drawing water from the well. Everything seems normal. Yet, in every villager's eyes, there's a strange, quiet fear. Everyone says, day belongs to us, but night belongs to someone else. As soon as the sun sets, the entire village changes. Every door is bolted from the inside. No one steps out. An old grandmother holds her grandson close and whispers, "Don't go outside, child. The shadows return at night." Temple bells echo through the air. Some villagers, trembling with fear, gather to chant prayers, hoping that God will protect them from the unseen forces lurking in the dark. It's 11 p.m. The streets are empty. Sometimes, with the passing wind, a faint knock, echoes from a door. Villagers say, "That's not a human. That's the one who roams the fields." At times, someone hears a whisper, "Don't come looking for me." And then, a cold gust of wind blows out every light in the room. One day, an outsider team arrived at the village. 3 people, carrying cameras, recorders, and strange electronic devices. They said, "We'll uncover the truth behind this fear." At midnight, while everyone stayed locked inside, the 3 of them reached the fields in the center of the village. The EMF detector began to beep rapidly. Nothing was visible on the camera, but the air grew heavy. One of them said, "There's someone here." Suddenly, his flashlight turned off on its own. Footsteps echoed behind them. Thack, thack, thack. But no one was there. Before dawn, the 3 returned, their faces pale with terror. They only said, "We didn't see anything, but we felt something." And it wasn't human to this day. The villagers lock their doors at night. They say, some things aren't meant to be fought, only avoided. Around 3 a.m., from the fields outside the village came a faint whisper, "Don't leave me alone." The village watchman, Harish Chandra, thought someone was playing a prank. He grabbed his flashlight and walked toward the fields, but the closer he got, the dimmer the light became. Suddenly, someone tapped his shoulder. He turned around. No one was there. A strange, cold mist floated above the ground. Then, a voice echoed in his ears, "I've returned." Harish Chandra collapsed unconscious. When people found him the next morning, his face was pale white, as if he had seen something beyond human comprehension. The village elders whispered, "She's back, the same woman who died in the fields 10 years ago." They say she died during childbirth, right there in the fields. Since then, on every new moon night, she visits someone in their dreams. Her unfinished birth, her unfinished cry, still wander through the silence. That night, the entire village gathered at the temple. Prayers and chants filled the air. Jai Mata Di. Suddenly the temple lights went out. Silence. A woman from the prayer group whispered, "Light the lamps." But everyone's hands were trembling. Then, the bell rope hanging in the temple began to sway. On its own! An invisible force was there. Terrified people started chanting mantras. Someone shouted, "Her spirit is here." A shadow of a woman appeared on the temple wall, and then vanished. That night, every house was locked tight. But someone knocked on Suman's door. She asked softly, "Who's there?" No answer. Again. "Tak, tak, tak." Terrified, Suman peeked under the door. There were no feet, only a shadow moving on the ground. The shadow slowly drifted away, and tiny handprints began to appear on the walls, as if a child's spirit had just passed by. The next morning, the Indian paranormal team returned. They searched the village records and discovered that this land was once a cremation ground. Before the village was built, many incomplete rituals had taken place here. Gaurav Tiwari said, "These spirits aren't evil, they're just incomplete. Until they find peace, this village will never rest." That night, the team lit lamps in the field one last time, and everyone prayed together. May all that is unfinished finally be complete. Slowly, the wind stopped. The EMF machine went silent. The mist over the village began to fade, but as they left, Gaurav said quietly, "This silence isn't real. Sometimes shadows don't sleep. They just keep watching." I with speech bubble.